Hey YouTube, Sokyo here, and quantum mechanics are rather interesting. If they could be married with the way that the universe works at our scale, the macro scale, then they would be able to create something called the theory of everything, which would describe how literally everything in the universe works. Unfortunately, it doesn't exist, might not ever exist, because people like Einstein died before they could finish it, if they were ever able to go to finish it. But anyway, there's an interesting thing with quantum mechanics. So, the quarks, they're very important. They make up the nucleons inside of the nuclei of the atoms that you are made of. Protons and neutrons are made out of quarks, tube up or down depending on if they're a proton or a neutron. But anyway, so these quarks are very interesting elementary particles. They're elementary particles because they're the smallest subdivisions in the universe. You can't break them down into something smaller, along with other particles like electrons, and you never find them on their own. They're always connected to other quarks via flux tubes. But anyway, so these elementary particles, the interesting thing about them is they aren't 3D like any object on our scale. They literally have 0 dimensions, 0 volume, 0 surface area, nothing. Even though that may seem impossible to imagine, physics says so, basically. We can't really ever observe them, though, because they're too small, however. It's not like we can take a picture of them, but you can just trust that they technically don't have any proper dimensions. And inside of a nucleon, such as a proton or a neutron, the amount of particles, many quarks, can actually be infinite, even though this may seem counterintuitive, as infinite shouldn't exist in our universe. Well, it's because of the gluon field and virtual particles, which I've spoken about. Virtual particles are teleporting in and out of existence, and then positive anti, and they collide with one another and delete each other from existence. But before they do that, they exist in our universe. And the gluon field creates a strong nuclear force that holds together the nuclei of atoms, and the gluons in this gluon field, these elementary particles, they can basically be any number, and this number is always changing, but it means that technically there's a chance that there's an infinite amount of these particles inside of your body.